I got some super wide leg, relaxed fit ass Parasuco jeans on, and baggy's the new wave. So I wore these jumps, but they kind of like weird around the waist because back then when you got big clothes, you actually bought them a little big, and these jumps is like a 38, I think, and I don't wear that no more.
Well, that's good that you don't wear that no more. Clap it up.
Yeah.
Just like on drink says, yeah!
You don't say.
Yo, get some more. That's right.
I'm just yelling, nigga.
He's like crazy.
Yo, I love Norio.
I love Nori.
He's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big Shawty, worst son ever. Yeah! Oh, wait. What did he say?
Yeah. He was like the best thing he ever did.
Yeah. Like that shit.
I said the worst, nigga.
What? Really? Damn, that fucked me up. I'm like, you ain't even listening at this point. You got the biggest interview ever, and you ain't even listening.
Hey, look, he be fading on that jump, though. Like, I saw the one he did with Wale, and, like, towards the end, Wale asked Nori a question, and Nori was sitting there like, and then Wale was like, yo, what's good? He was like, nigga, I came to drink champ, and I became the drink champ.
Yeah, because
Nori faded.
Yeah. Because they really be drinking and smoking on that shit.
Yeah.
They be getting in. So what did we miss last week? Oh, I know what we missed.
Yeah.
Big Bird got vaccinated.
I didn't even hear about that. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, man. They was like, he was one of the final holdouts. He was holding out. He was trying to make sure it was safe for kids. And so Big Bird got vaccinated. And then, as you know, the publications that are anti-vax was like, I always knew that the Muppets and Sesame Street were all communist. And I was just like, yo, how does that go? Like, how does that leap go from being like they're fictitious puppets to like Vladimir Putin and they down with a comrade in the Kremlin? Like, how does that even go? But
like, it's really simple if you think through it, right? Communism has been a threat since who knows when. Like, you know what I mean? Like, every single time we elect a president on the right side, there's some sort of fear-mongering around something communism or socialism related. It's every single time. And that's why there's, like, always a constant, like, when something close to it happens, everybody just, communism! You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always there right under the surface.
You know what I would love to do? I want to line 10 people up on the street. And this is just for any topic. Yeah. But this one in particular. Have them all explain communism and say, hey, you can't use the terms of how you like good, bad.
Yeah.
You have to use terms, explain what it actually is.
Like, aside from the people, we want to know what color, what system, like what it is.
Yeah,
right?
Don't say Russia. Don't say all the other things.
Don't mention any countries, any people.
Yeah, just say what it is. I'll be curious because I think sometimes people hate something and they don't even know what the hell it is. Yeah. They have no idea about where it comes from, how it happens, and we're going to get into this later. But I would love to know what is the rationale, because I think people just say words now and they don't even understand the meaning to them, so then they don't even mean anything. Or it means what you want it to mean.
Exactly. It means what somebody wants it to mean.
Yeah, there's somebody doing some type of propaganda off of it. So we haven't done this in a little while, and sorry, should have said off the top of the show, Mimi's not going to be here with us.
She is not.
We're missing our good friend, and hopefully, she'll be here next week.
I mean, she's fine and everything, so nothing bad happened.
I mean, she did say that she didn't want to be.
Okay, shut up. You always bamming, yo.
Well, yeah, because she hates all of it. Anytime, she hates all of it. She's like, why did you guys say it was too urban in here for me?
Oh, that was funny as shit, yo.
No, shout outs to Mimi. So we'll hope to see she will be back in here next week.
Yes.
But for this week, how was your week, Wally? Let's do quick little mental check-in. How was your week, man, Wally?
It was cool. I I kind of took some steps this week to kind of like organize my life. You know what I'm saying? Just organizing stuff that I have, or like putting in place like, different times that I'm gonna do stuff like my little neck exercises or stretch, or like actually work out with these resistance bands I got so that I didn't have to go anywhere to work out. You know what I'm
Speaking of
saying?
your neck, did you ever get a chance to use that gift card?
Not yet, yo. I have to look at that joint every single day, and like the reason I haven't gone yet is because I haven't gotten rid of most of the tingling. You know what I mean? Once that really starts to subside, and there's the basic movements I can do without feeling those things, then it's massage time right away because I need that shit.
Because one thing that we're starting to do different. This is not people don't know where I work, but we're start using CBD oil.
Oh.
Yeah, so like as like on your back and on your feet.
Yeah.
So like it's supposed to, what CBD
Yeah.
and shit. So but yeah, it's supposed to kind of be good as far as relaxing your muscles in there and stuff. So that's why whenever they start talking about that, I thought about you and I was like, I wondered had he ever had to use that yet? Because you can use it whenever, but it was just one of those situations where I was just like, yeah, I wanted to know what was going on with your neck, pause, and I wanted to. So I wanted to see how you were doing and make sure you were straight out here.
Yeah, no, good. Like I have, so that gift card is sitting on my desk right in front underneath my monitor, and I like literally look at that joint every day. Like I can't wait to use this shit. But like I'm trying to make my progress, and so far so good. So this week was another like, I guess upward one, kind of, sorta, in that regard.
Good. No, I'm glad to. It feels good to have a sense of accomplishment, and like you said, organizing your life the way to make it easier is always beneficial.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people should try to do that as far as because there's a lot of things you just kind of deal with that's in your control versus dealing with it where you can make it easier.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like people, you a lot of folks get stuck at, damn, I'm a mess. I need to do something about it. And then they get stuck at like that next part, you know what I'm saying? And like that's always the hard part. Like I climbed over that hill in a couple regards with a couple different things, like get my stuff organized so I cannot go and use it when I need to. And that's just one step, you know what I mean? But like it's over now. Like I did that and it's over, and now I get to like reap the benefits. Yeah. So I'm just trying to like, every week do something different. Kind of try to like, not fall apart during the winter this year.
You know what I did get a chance to look into? Remember whenever I sent you and Mimi like that tag thing? I haven't looked into it to see if there's like a local chapter because like I was trying to see so for the fans at home.
Yes.
There's I was at home. It was like right after we had a great pod and I was just sitting there. I was looking on ESPN. Because, ESPN is always funny on Sunday because, like, they
got to find something to play, right?
Yeah, they have to have something to fill the time because they don't have
Football,
any NFL contracts. Yeah. So the next thing, I see something called U.S. Tag Championships. And I was like, the fuck, no way. Yes, so then I was like, I literally clicked on the thing because I was curious. And I see some parkour, like the most hardcore game of tag you've ever seen in your life. And these dudes was serious.
Yo, they was like, we talking like, there was like, I guess it simulated like a cityscape, you know what I mean? Yeah. It had like rails and raised like areas and lower areas and shit like that. And them Bama's was just jumping over and under. And like, they were doing the kind of stuff that like, if we were kids doing that in the house, our parents would be like, boy, you gonna put your eye out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to knock one of your teeth out. Stop it.
Yeah, that's what I was more worried about is, like, there wasn't even... I guess they're professionals.
Yeah, like, so they practice this stuff. They knock their teeth out in practice, and by the time, game day comes, I guess they got it together.
Yeah, because they're like... Because they're dead-ass serious about making the tag, and it's like an honor system. So it's like... They'll be like, I got you. And you'd be like,
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did, dude. I touched your butt, man.
Yeah, I definitely touched your shoelace, bro. But like, yeah, it was just crazy because I was like, I remember, so there was a girl in the neighborhood and she was running away from me. This sounds completely terrible. But I was chasing after her. But, we was playing around. But I realized in 2021, sounds really bad.
Yeah, so we grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, and we used to go outside a lot. As a matter of fact, some of our parents, not mine. I don't know if yours did this, but I know some people's parents was like, it's 10 in the morning during the summer, ain't nothing going on. Go outside and don't come back till like 5 or something. Go find somebody's friend house to go to.
They didn't have to tell me that. I was already going to do that anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that was, my parents didn't need, I guess some people needed to put their kids out, but I didn't need to get put out. I was already wanted to go anyway.
And even them kids, they ain't need to get put out. Their parents was just like, stay outside today, yo.
Yeah.
And, we was cool with that because, that's what we did.
Yeah, because it was outside.
Yeah. So, to go back to the story, you chasing this girl.
Yeah.
Because we're outside playing.
Yeah. So, because I just know how that sounds. Large black man chasing after a girl. So I was faster than her. No, there's no equivocation about it. But the one thing she had over me was she was shifty. so her change of direction was crazy. So it was also icy outside. So when she changed the direction that way, I tried to follow her, and it just said, oh. And then when that happened, it was like, I was like, oh, well, maybe quick lateral movements isn't my thing. So when I saw that tag thing, I was all just like, motherfuckers.
You was hating?
Hating hard. Because I was like, I'm a straight line dude, and I know I would just get caught because I can't turn corners and do all the rest of the stuff that they're doing. But no, they was killing it, man, and it was and then there's a world tag championships.
Yeah,
and
man.
So it was all interesting, and they've been doing it since at least 2019. So.
Look, I would love to see tag end up in the Olympics because there's been way weirder sports showcase there.
I would love to see more stuff like that on TV. Like I said, I remember during the Olympics, I saw handball, and I was like, "Oh, this shit's cool!" I would really,
so fun.
Yeah, I would like you said. I remember you talking about it, but I just want diversity on TV of sports because I think, first off, I'm sorry, I love Hey, listen, Atlanta won the World Series. Shout outs. I don't want to bury the lead, but if you're gonna watch baseball, you're gonna be completely bored out of your effing mind. For 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch handball, which is something that's going on at all points and periods of time.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that makes me realize.
Even sports like soccer and hockey, especially soccer, where they don't be scoring or nothing. It's still you can still watch it. It's still a lot of action going on. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody has to explain to me how them soccer players be sliding on their knees, pause. And that is grass though, bro. How do you slide on grass? What kind of grass is where they sliding like that?
Hey, look, man. Well, I guess one thing though we got to be clear about is it is grass, but not the kind of grass fields you probably used to run around on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm guessing, yeah.
The jump, in our old neighborhood, the park and shit.
Yeah.
Try slide on that. Oh yeah, you're gonna be jacked up.
Yeah, okay, so the pitch is probably a little different.
Yeah, it's definitely manicured perfectly so you can do stuff like that. It's almost like being on turf, you know what I mean?
See, that's what I had to think of. There has to be something more to it, because I was like, how are they sliding on that shit?
If you slide on, when I was in high school, my football team, or my school had no home field, you know what I'm saying? So we used to play our home games at Parkdale High School, and their field was terrible. The stadium was nice. It was big, they built the stadium into a dip in the land. It was like a bowl. It was pretty cool, but the field itself was trash. Had a manhole cover in the middle of that junk. You know what I'm saying? That's bad enough already. And then the treatment of it's it's a PG County school and they don't fund them junks well, so none of the fields really be looking nice like that. And that was one of them.
Manhole cover.
Manhole cover. I remember stepping on that junk one day and I was just thoroughly confused.
That Jay said, Dum.
Yeah. Or you just got the metal bottom cleats on it. You know what I'm saying? When I stepped on that jump.
So my week was cool. Last week, sorry you guys for missing last week. I woke up with a terrible migraine, and anybody that knows when you have a migraine, being in front of lights and talking isn't the first thing that comes to mind. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But hopefully, that doesn't continuously happen. I guess that's the only way I think I awkwardly can say.
You get them often or
No, not really. Like I said, I think the last major one I had was around this time last year too. Like I had the worst migraine ever in my life. Thanksgiving last year.
Okay.
On Thanksgiving, but like this one wasn't that bad. It was like I think from Thanksgiving last year, it was crazy from the beginning to like 7 or 8 is whenever I felt. But this one, it was like 4 o'clock. I felt cool.
Okay.
So I was cool
good.
around 4. But
Got
other
you,
than
got
that,
your fluids up in you and all that.
yeah, I got my fluids up in me.
Yeah, all right now.
And no, I'm good. And you know, man, we just been super busy, just super busy at work. Yeah, man, just booked out past Thanksgiving.
Is this like a busy time of year usually?
It's just a busy clinic in general right now. Okay. It's just been crazy. So, literally, I think me and Mimi were at work all day. I think this has only probably happened 2 or 3 times ever in 8 years. We didn't see each other just because we were so big. Like I heard her coming up and down the hallway, or she probably heard me or something. But I just never got a chance to see her. So literally, I was like, we had our wires crossed because I was trying to give her something, so I taped it somewhere because I was not going to see her. And then later on that day, she was like, I wasn't coming anyway, so what's going on? And she's like, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that was funny as shit. Yeah.
I was like,
you talking about the text message? Yeah.
I was like confused, but whatever.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, did you get the part? Use the parking pass, the paper jump. Yeah. Like, did you get the pad? Like, did you get it? She's like, no, but I'm not coming. And just their response was just like, the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't say that. But
you didn't say that, but that's the energy.
The energy was that. But she was remarkably calm the whole time because she just was like, keep reading. And I was like, still confused.
He sent the screenshot, and in the screenshot at the very bottom, the message she was talking about was just cut off at the bottom of that shit. Come on, son, he was almost there.
Yeah. She's like, keep reading. And I was just like, whatever. And so Mimi's like, she sent the text that I clearly missed. And it was like, oh, my bad, I'm not going to be able to make it for, da-da-da. So then I was just like, I looked at it, I looked up, scrolled through again, and I was like, dang it, I missed that. But I could have left it there, but I was like, it was important to me, because I did come a little hard. I was like, not as hard as you.
Bruh. I'm enrolled in this school and I'm going like, no.
But I did come a little hard, and I told her, I was like, hey, look, my bad, I'm sorry. Because I saw it, I was wrong. I completely missed the part of the story that was very integral to this whole thing. I was under because I was under that impression for like a week. It was going to be hard to uproot me from that thinking.
I was sitting there picturing you just sitting on the edge of the bed. God damn it.
I was actually sitting in a chair, but yeah, you're right. Blown. Worked all day, blown. But it was cool because, like I said, I just wanted with me and Mimi, and this works both ways. We're both going to be wrong. We're both going to not think that we're wrong. The important thing is to whenever the other person is wrong, I Mimi, you have to acknowledge that you're wrong, and give that person that thing. Because I noticed that the other week where she had said something, and I said something back, and I was just like, well, you are right about that part, but here's the part I'm actually talking about.
Yeah. And
she even said, like, that's all I needed. So, yeah, for me and her, it's just that. We're just two strong-willed people. But, yeah, I was like, I wonder what Wally thought about that, because I know you've seen it, and you didn't say, like you said, you didn't say anything.
I was sitting there like this. Y'all funny.
Yeah. But like I said, she was completely calm and cool and collected about it. But getting into the first topic, because we haven't even started the show yet.
We got to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Getting into the first topic, where would you... I guess the first thing, since we're getting into that, let's get into pet peeves.
Yeah?
Like, for Wally, what's your pet peeve? Where's some of your pet peeves?
There's a few of them, yo. Um, damn, yo, there's I don't know. I guess I'll go with the probably one of the top ones is like interruptions, just in general. You know what I mean? I'm not a very neurotypical person.
What do you mean by that?
It means that I have a mental disorder.
I was like, yo, he said some shit I hadn't even heard of. So
My
I was
bad,
like,
yeah, I'm
so I
using
tried to sound,
buzzwords out here.
I was like, tell me more, literally, please, so I can
No,
understand.
I'm not neurotypical. We are talking about ADHD a few weeks back. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And one of my one common like trait or action or whatever you want to call it is the hyper focusing. You know what I mean? You had these people that can't like really direct their attention in any one place at any given time and control it like that. But when we get into a flow, oh, it's a flow. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm like say at work, this used to happen. We're in the office most of the time. If I'm at work and I'm working on something like heads down for like 2-3 hours at my desk, and like somebody comes and like taps you on the shoulder and wants to talk about something, I'm not going to like fly off the handle at them and be like, God damn it, what is it? But like in my head, like that's the initial feeling. You know what I'm saying? And like I understand that like shit's gonna happen. You're gonna get interrupted, but like that's probably one of the things that throws me off like the most. You know what I'm saying? Like I borderline can't handle it because sometimes it takes so much to get back on track.
No, it reminds me of, like I said, whenever me running in a straight line.
Yeah.
And any deviation from that line throws
Like,
me off because
not-
I'm not agile enough to do it that way. And some people, they can have several different things going on at once. I'm with you. If I'm like talking on the phone with someone, I'm talking on the phone. I can't be
yeah.
then watching TV and doing all the rest of that because then it's too, like, I can only do kind of one thing at a time in that sense. And so I completely get you.
You know, like stuff like that. Like people, you talking on the phone with somebody and they like doing something else. Hold on, son, I gotta, and go off for like a couple minutes to come back. Like I hate that shit. So if I stay on the phone with you while you doing stuff like that, then that means I really bang with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That means like you my man's for real. Shout out to my man Willie Earl, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll give up some of that for like your folks, and that's one of them things. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't stand that, but it's Will, so like whatever.
It's your guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's true. So mine's a little bit more. I've talked about on this show. I've talked about like you. What's it? Stars.
Influences.
No, Uber drivers that can't like shut the hell up. Like that.
Okay.
That'd be like, yo, yeah, man. After my wife left me, and I'm like, oh, here we go, here it is, it's coming.
Yeah.
So those, but now, and this isn't at no one in particular, but it just is in general when it comes down to text. So if I text someone, do not text me back 2 days later. Do not text me back a day later. Don't text me back. Like if I text you on a Friday, don't text me back on a Monday. If I send you energy, give me energy back in a timely manner. And don't be slow doing it. And if I text you more than one word, you don't text me back one word. What? Like, yo, nothing drives me up a wall more than that. What am I going to do for one word answer? So, like I said, I didn't ask you a question. I was just like, yo, hey, good morning. Hey.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, there's people that like, how you not know, like, that there is not knowing how to text. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't like that is weird. Now I feel you. Like you like send a greeting someone's way and they just be like, hey, when it's obvious that you were trying to like, you know what I mean?
But here's my thing.
It's weird, I guess.
I grew up like I was a phone master. I grew up like in the mid 90s, well not like late 90s. Phone master. Bring what's up, girl? Killing the phone game, hogging all the time. No one else could get on. Mom was kicking in. Oh, I was trying to make a phone call. Mom, I'm on the phone. I was doing that. Now everything's through text, and I don't like it. But if that's what we doing, that's what we doing. If that's where the space is at, that's where the space is at. But like, if we're gonna do that, at least like picture a text as energy that I'm sending your way. You may if a text may seem innocuous to you within what's in there, but you don't know what energy was behind that.
Right.
Like I could need someone right now. I just need to know that you're there.
Yeah.
And if you're not there, or you don't get back to me in a timely manner, you don't know where my headspace is.
Yeah.
And or I don't know where. And I know I'm not always the greatest at this, but I always try to make sure that whatever energy someone takes out of their day to send to me, send back to me.
Yeah,
like one thing about our boys is that as much as the criticism I give, if I send something at Sump's hit me back immediately.
Yes.
Expeditiously.
Yeah.
And I love that about him. I've always loved that about him. It's never been a conversation because like I said, I texted him the other because I was supposed to hang out with him last week and I wasn't able to, and I texted him back. Texted him and I was like, "Hey, look, my bad." And like literally within 30 minutes, he's like, "Oh, no problem. Wally told me what was going on. You good, bro?" Like that kind of thing. And I was just like, "Yo, I love this dude." That's what I'm saying. Like for me, it's send back the energy that is being sent to you because if we can all admit we're all at times always in a good space.
Yeah.
And this the only thing that I'm saying right now applies to people you care about.
Right.
If you don't care about them, this doesn't apply.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you. Like, there's no... You're right. You don't owe nobody nothing. Like
you don't owe nobody nothing at the end of the day. If you don't bang with me, then that's cool. But if you bang with me, at least pay me the respect of getting back to me in an orderly manner. And if you know you're someone that's just going to forget, okay, that's cool that you forget. Just do it immediately then. Make sure that you're giving back somebody the energy that they put.
That's me. I'll like stay getting a text from somebody while I'm doing something and I see it and it's like I can't respond to it. You know what I'm saying? Like either my brain won't let me do it or I'm actually that busy. Either way, like it'll happen a few hours later or something. Like I'll text me all the time and I'll text y'all back like 4 or 5 hours later.
But you'll get back on the day. See, I don't mind that so much because even knowing how you go, that's fucking great. See, that's the thing. The people I know that if it takes 2 seconds to send back a text, at least you'll circle back around to it and be like, all right. And like what I'm talking about is consistently.
I feel you. People that be posting their screenshots of their iPhone and they be having like 85 messages and like 70 missed calls and shit. Yeah. Like, how do you sit there with that, yo? I know it's just like a text just chilling in your junk.
Yo, I see any sort of red, I'm like, yo, I need to get on it. I can't stand it. It bothers me to no end. So then I can't imagine, how do you not answer text? How do you not look at a text? Like,
it's not an email.
Like,
my email box is off the chains, but like, it's not, they ain't text messages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not people trying to get directly to me.
Yeah, because those are sent directly to you. Unless those are all spam, you don't, first off, I'm going to be clear to everyone out there in the world. You are not that important. To where you're not the president. You're not doing like if you're a doctor on shift and you have and you have a lot of people trying to get in touch with you, that's one thing.
Right.
But if you're on a regular not looking at your text messages, what is going so you should never feel away if you reach out there to someone and they don't get back with you.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure you would. So do the same. That's all.
Yeah, I guess you gotta give what you try and get, like as usual. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of people getting what they deserve, Aaron Rodgers.
Man, this dude.
So Rodgers, he was AKA White Jesus. He's a phenomenal football player, but he is a liar. And when it comes down to this whole vaccine situation, if you're going to be on the side of not being vaccinated, fine. Everybody's grown out here. You do what you do, you bro. But like, whenever it comes down to wearing your mask, when it comes down to protocols, you have to follow them.
That's for everybody else.
Yeah, and just because you caught COVID doesn't make you immunized from catching it again or passing it on. Doesn't make you vaccinated. Just means you've caught COVID. guess what the thing you can do, which is what happened to him. You can catch it again,
Yes.
which is
And that really ain't good.
yeah. And so that really puts him in a position where, and then for me, it was you lied about being. If you didn't want to be a part of a camp, you could just be like, I'm not answering that question.
Yeah.
Don't act like you have gotten vaccinated. And not to say that being vaccinated is a political decision. It's a personal decision that should never be made political anyway. Do your thing. But my thing about it is, once you've been caught, once the wolves are out, don't go on the Pat McAfee show and start doing a whole bunch of false equivalencies, conflating things, talking about yourself like you're some martyr like MLK.
Oh my God, yo.
Don't talk about yourself like you somehow are for a cause and you not doing it for
Like
all
you
these
being
other
persecuted
reasons.
for something and shit.
Man, like, bro, you made a personal decision, and now your team that you currently play for and you cash checks from is suffering because of decisions you've made. That's it, bro. Like, at a certain end of the day, it's like, for me, it's like I'm really done with the whole people getting a vaccine or not, or mandates or not. Just be responsible. You went to a Halloween party without a mask on, you're not vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's not responsible.
Yeah.
Period.
You see, I think, I see this part of the problem I see, because there's a lot of us who have like gotten past the point where, masks help both you and I out. Mostly they help keep whatever's in my mouth from getting to you. And then on the other hand, they kind of protect in the other direction too. You know what I mean? Not as well, but mostly it's to keep everybody protected from spit droplets and mucus and shit floating through the air and getting into somebody else's airstream.
Right.
Most of us have gotten there, but there are still some people that haven't. And that is the reason this has become politicized, because it's been going on for so long, because so many people took so long to like take the shit serious, and some of them still don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're now at a point where like these government officials and people and health officials are feeling like they have to put their feet down on certain stuff because the COVID situation has not gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Every few months, they're like, oh, year over year, shit's worse right now. More deaths, more hospitalizations. You know what I'm saying? After a whole rack of people got vaccinated. So, I don't know. It's just something's getting lost in translation, and it's like, it sucks because it's getting worse and worse as we go on, and also harder and harder to like solve for.
And all that what you just said is true. And which leads to the fatigue of what's going on here. But what's more important, and I just want to get to some of the stuff that he was talking about vaccine causing infertility, and this will lead on to the next subject that we're going to get into too. Yeah. But it's one of those situations to where I could feel like my next door neighbor thinks that I'm less than because I'm black.
Right.
That's how I feel. And sometimes you can feel something so strongly that you in your head turn it to fact. And when you have, evidence that you think that you've come up with, and you think that it supports your theory, it then becomes fact, and no one can tell you otherwise.
Right.
And due to the internet, once you have these theories and facts, or what that you think are facts, you then now have a community in which to belong to, and that propagates and then puts other things in your head that you were thinking as well.
Yep.
And
good old filter bubble, like bouncing it around, like everybody's saying the same things. So of course everybody agrees, and it magnifies and it magnifies.
And then pretty soon you're in your own echo chamber of bullshit. So when he gets on there, his famous ass, and starts saying things and conflating things and spouting conspiracy theories that are easily debunked. To him, those aren't conspiracy theories.
Right.
Those are things that he feels are true. And because at the very beginning of this, I think the scientists were like, okay, it's everybody, you don't have to wear a mask, guys.
Yeah.
The thing about it is science moves. It's once more information is given, when much more information is accumulated, they then make other recommendations off that.
Right.
People are very rigid. They believe if you say one thing, then you shouldn't ever move off of it. And we're gonna go by the first thing you say.
And even past that, like people like are more comfortable doing more comfortable things, right? So like if off the back you give people a choice, yeah, exactly. That's where they got stuck. You gave them a choice. You can wear this mask. You don't have to though, but it would help. I ain't wearing that shit. And then that's that. So like you're right. That's where it's stuck in, and that's where it's been at. Right.
And then these institutions then get devalued because, and mainly because, listen, people, we said this on this podcast a million times. People don't trust the media. People don't, and they don't trust scientists or doctors that are aligned with the media.
Yeah.
And then then it's like someone who's, I remember I was watching this Breakfast Club interview. Sanjay Gupta was on. DJ Envy and Charlemagne are not far right conspiracy theorist hosts, but they were like, "Yeah, I don't want my kids to get the vaccine." And he's like, the dude was like, Sanjay Gupta was like, "Well, this will help out." And he's like, "Well," Charlemagne's like, "I don't think my kids should get it because you guys were saying at the beginning that this doesn't affect kids. Now you're saying something different. I don't like how you." And I'm like, "Wait, hold on. It doesn't affect kids to the certain degree that it affects adults, but they can still spread it." And it becomes a situation of people fall in love with what's originally said first, instead of understanding that thing, like I said before, that thing.
Like the other thing about this is, look when this happened, right? We are in the midst of like the term of the president who's probably going to go down as being regarded as the worst ever, right? Like, if not worst, bottom 5. You know what I'm saying? And we at the end of his term where it's looking like he probably not going to win re-election. So he was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? That he was going crazy that whole entire last year. And all the stuff you're saying pretty much amounts to him being the voice. You know what I'm saying? Him being the one telling people, the president's out here telling people that it's not that bad. It's not going to affect people. And even though we know he lies all the time, there's so many people in this country and then an entire half of our like government that just goes along with whatever he says. You know what I'm saying? And like stuff sucked in general. So people are going to latch on to the first thing that like made them feel comfortable.
And here's the thing. The problem with that theory is once you want to change streams, like he literally went back out there and said, Trump, he was like, "Yeah, if you get it, it probably best. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
You should probably go get it."
By that time, it was too late. Yeah.
It was too late. And see, that's the danger. Is that if you, and this is why I think, here's where you and Mimi always talk about the danger in the thoughts and ideas and allowing them to propagate. I resisted you guys on this on certain situations because I was like, everybody has a right to be wrong. But when it's a public safety thing like this, it becomes a situation where we have to figure out where free speech begins, where protected speech begins, because everybody's free to say whatever, but what's protected and what isn't. And when is it harmful for others? And that's a fine line, and we all kind of have a different interpretation of what is harmful to you and me and what is, I guess that's really what we've been arguing about some of these topics is I don't see them as, personally harmful to me. I don't see John Gruden as personally harmful to me. But you guys are saying that what he's saying can be, and allowing that to propagate could be harmful for future generations.
Right. And then also not ignoring the rest of the signs around it. You can't just be like making up shit, but history and logic say that if John Gruden is saying all and doing all this stuff, he is not the only one because of how the NFL is like just a fraternity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
that
I get. That's what I said. That's where
it just leads.
That's what I'm saying. That I can understand. That's what I said. That's really what we were arguing about, not necessarily about the substance of what he was saying.
Right.
Because we all can agree that's terrible. But when I think it's a public health crisis that has literally killed people in my family.
Yep, mine too.
Our friends.
Yep.
And it becomes, and it's literally changed the way I do my business as a person in this country. Fundamentally so.
You got to change the way you do a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and
you just find yourself moving different.
And I literally feel like it sucks that we're in a position where we have to have these conversations about field facts and dispelling these things. And the fact that it's been so much lately.
Yeah.
And leading on to the last subject, critical race theory. If there's ever been how people feel versus what actually some shit is, this is the prime example of that. And Wally, you were talking earlier on today about,
critical race theory, where it came from and all that.
Yeah, so go ahead, my man.
All right, so I just, this may or may not be brief, can't predict it. So my main thing, and this is where I believe like most of the problem or almost all the problem with critical race theory is that the words critical race theory, that term is a manufactured buzzword. You know what I'm saying? Like critical race theory, those words in that order were created by some like Republican conservative think tank in order for there to be a buzzword to stoke people's emotions in the media, right? When politicians go out and speak on basically wanting to teach the most accurate version of history possible in schools so that everybody knows what really happened, the conservative side didn't like that because obviously like what their lineage lies, you know what I'm saying? They don't want anybody to like hear all this stuff. They don't want like the things that they've left out over the years to like be suddenly put back in and make all of them look bad. So they got to turn people against it, right? And this buzzword, critical race theory started to pop up all over the place like, last year, a couple years ago. And now...
around the time of George Floyd, yes.
Exactly. And now it's like a fully fleshed out, fully fledged buzzword, just like the word... the words conservative and the word liberal and
socialist.
So yeah, socialism, communism, like you were saying earlier, like these things that like when you say the word, it stokes an emotion first, not like a thought process.
Right.
And that's most of the problem right now, because like when people hear critical race theory, their mind goes directly to I don't want it, not what is it? Should it be here or not?
It's funny. I met this girl when I came over to Virginia, and we were talking, and she grew up in North Carolina, and she was telling me she learned about the Civil War, and so when she came, what she thought was what became the Civil War for her, because she was taught something slightly different. So when she came up here, and she was like, people were talking about the Civil War, she's like, "Why are you guys calling it that?" And it was like, "Because it's called the Civil War." She was like, "Well, where I'm from, it's called the War of Northern Aggression."
Oh.
Think about it for a quick second.
Yeah.
When we start talking about history, it's told by you normally who won.
Yeah.
America's the only country that I can ever remember where the story is told by the people who lost. Like, F everything else I just said. Think about it for a second.
Yeah.
The South lost, but yet there are more statues of Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis and all these other people who served than there are of any other statues. Like, if you go to Germany, there are no statues of Hitler. None.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find a statue of Hitler anywhere.
Nope.
It's illegal. Somehow, and he was an Austrian guy who came to power all legitimately.
Yeah.
These people rebelled against the government.
Yes.
And we have statues up of them.
They're traitors.
Traitors to the government.
First and foremost, you don't even like get into the like philosophy of what and why they were doing what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Like you just said, and like you said earlier and have said before, they took up arms against the United States, like
government, yes.
They tried to fight them Bamas because they were like, y'all got to do this since, we're part of this nation. And they were like, nah.
I'm 32.
I'm going to shoot you.
I'm 32. The girl that said this to me was also 32. So this isn't old.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
learned
yeah.
that this was recent. So this is so if you think that critical race theory is dangerous and all the rest of that, imagine how much more dangerous it is to have kids learn that it's the war of northern aggression.
Yeah.
The framing of that. If you're from the South, yes, it would be seen as a war of northern aggression because there is a thought process that the Civil War was the North trying to equal out the economic advantages of the South due to slave labor, and the North wanted to impose tariffs on the South, and the South said, "After all that, we're not going to have tariffs. We want to continue to own our slaves and continue making the money."
Right.
Once they lost the war, it's not a coincidence that places like South Carolina, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi are some of the poorest states in the country.
Yeah.
Because their whole existence was based off and propagated off of slavery. The only state,
black people always be talking about how stuff from 300-400 years ago still affects us today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what like you said, I was. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was too subtle.
Yeah, yo.
I did it exactly again. I was too subtle because I accused Mimi one time when she was doing the what was she? She was doing the abortion thing, and I was like, you pointed at it, but you pointed at it. You didn't like neon sign it.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me neon sign it.
Circle the junk in red ink. Yo.
Yeah, Georgia. It has a lot of industry due to the infrastructure that was built during the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta.
Right.
That's why that place turned around.
Right.
And the fact that a lot of companies were kind of going in, Coca-Cola and others, Home Depot, were coming into Atlanta, and that helped it out a little bit. Now that state is thriving.
Yeah.
So that's one of the few states in the South that was thriving. That was not the case 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not even 50, though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, just so people understand.
Yeah.
So part of the reason why you have a lot of poor southern states is because of this. And like what he was saying, if you're going to complain about black people talking about slavery and all the rest of that, you have to understand of how it's interweaving into the American culture, but how it still has effects till today.
Exactly.
And that's part of the reason why these states aren't doing so well. It's because of the fact that there has not been industry or money put back into these states because it was based off of free slave labor.
Yes. And then, you know what they did after that? Slavery ended or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It ended. And
allegedly.
When did all these statues of all these conservative like generals and shit, Robert E. Lee and all these motherfuckers show up? When did they start putting them up?
Those are fairly recent, actually.
Exactly.
Those are fairly recent.
They held on to that hurt until like they start, like, I know a lot of them got put up in like the early 1900s, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Or mid 1900s during the civil rights movement, just to piss people off. You know what I'm saying? They held on to that attitude for that long and did not change.
Yeah, no, like I said, this is the only country where the losing side gets to write what happened, and where people don't get to be called out for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Tulsa, Oklahoma incident.
Mm-hmm.
I did not learn that in school.
Nope. Did not learn it in school. And we've talked about like where at least you went to high school and middle school at, and where I grew up my whole life at. You know what I'm saying? All them black people around there. Yeah, all this black excellence. Nobody knew about that shit.
PG County, we had no idea about Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was not taught in schools. Here's why this is important from a critical race theory standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, I saw black people on TV.
Yeah.
I thought the only way you can achieve excellence is being an entertainer, actor, comedian, athlete. Mm-hmm. These are what people, and this is how I was seeing myself. Yeah. Imagine how people who aren't black were seeing us. Like, this is what these people are good for. This is what black excellence looks like.
We sitting there looking at like all these, everything we see, like, you know, if there's a role for a doctor or a lawyer and like, you know, most of these people are white, we sitting there not knowing that the fact that we not seeing that at all is kind of pushing us towards the fact that we can't be it. You know what I'm saying?
There's a little bit of programming even within that. But that's what I mean by what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just for some people who don't know. There was a self-sustaining black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Big time.
Let me repeat that. Self-sustaining. Not like the Wakanda that Kanye West wants to build. I mean...
We talk about like them in the old West when people would find a big flat patch of land and start building buildings on it and create a town and shit. And like it starts to thrive.
Yeah, it was a thriving town that had its own police department, had its own fire department, had its own educational situation, had a lot of money,
yes,
had a lot of people,
wealthy
people, and they were all in the same community.
That place had a nickname, remember?
What was it called?
They called it the Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. Yep, they called it Black Wall Street. And what ended up happening is that place ended up being firebombed. A terrible rumor was started. I won't repeat it because I don't believe it to be so. I don't even want to get into that. Because I don't even know that to be true.
We're gonna get into what actually happened, what these white people's mindset was, right?
Yeah, they went in and they firebombed and they destroyed that community. Like the best way to describe it is literally what happened to Pompeii whenever the whole ash and everything. There was nothing left.
Yeah.
To not teach that is to not only teach what happened in black culture, but American culture.
Yeah.
When you have because here's the thing, what I'm starting to understand is the reason why there's been such a pushback on teaching critical race theory in the country or teaching history. Take the critical race part out of it.
Teaching history the way it happened.
Yeah,
let's start saying that.
Yeah, take the critical race stuff out. Take the buzzwords out. Teaching American history. The reason why that teaching it the way it happened is important. It's because it opened people's minds up to where, it's important to feel proud to be American, but it's also important to realize we all have our inherited biases. Yeah. Me as a black man, I have my biases. I have a lens in which I view the world in. So if you're white in this country, of course you do. If you're Asian, of course you do. Everybody has the lens in which they look at life through. But if you get taught in school, which is a very formative place, you start to look at things a little bit different. Yep. You start to see where, this is where it's baked in.
Right.
Because me telling you this at 32 and you being 32 and you not experiencing this and thinking everything's cool, of course it's going to be a shock to you. Of course it's going to be.
Yeah, we've already had a lifetime of seeing the term War of Northern Aggression in history books and whatever throughout the years, right? And like we were talking about buzzwords a few minutes ago. What happens with a buzzword? They create it. It gets out there, and it ends up stoking emotional response before thought process.
Yes.
And you hear Northern Aggression, and that's what you feel is they were aggressive.
No, that's a great callback, Wally, because that's exactly what people are being taught. Yeah. And that's why it's hard for people to get out of their own inherent biases to see someone else's opinion. Because all they saw was, what are these black people complaining about? They're rioting and they're destroying buildings and not understanding the amount of social, economical, and physical pressure these people are being put under.
Exactly.
It's amazing that people are so afraid to just tell the truth. I'm not telling anybody, like if schools and having people, if you have teachers that are putting their own slant on anything, I have an issue with that. Even though you can't really help it because history is history. And like I told you before, I could tell a story and you could tell a story. And what parts of that story I choose to emphasize and what parts of the story you choose to emphasize are going to be different. Yeah. But just tell the story.
Yeah.
And then allow everybody else to determine how they think and feel after that.
Exactly.
So, is there anything else you want to say on that subject?
Not on that subject, but something kind of related because there's something I was thinking about when we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, right?
Go ahead.
And there's one thing that he said that like really, it kind of just goes back to like white people stealing stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So there's two terms that like have just entered the...
White people still act. I'm sorry. It's just how you said it. He's like,
Yeah, I know.
Goes back to white people stealing stuff.
A lot of times it's easier for me to just say what I'm saying rather than trying to like dress it up, you know, because I'm real good at dressing stuff up, you know what I'm saying? I'm a writer by trade, but like, you know, I want y'all to hear what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
This goes back to white people stealing stuff. Aaron Rodgers in that interview, part of the thing he said was, I feel like the PC woke mob is after me. He used the term woke, right? And like, that term woke and the term cancel have entered the lexicon. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been in public use forever. The media started using it. And like, where did it come from? Where did either of those two terms come from? Because I can tell you exactly where they come from and why it's so like this shit again when certain people use the words.
Okay, go ahead.
The word woke, it was originally used by black folks to tell other black folks to keep your third eye open. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like be mindful of like when somebody around you is on some bullshit, or you gotta be mindful when like there's white people and microaggressions flying across your face. You gotta like be able to pick up on that kind of stuff, or you might end up in a situation later on that you don't want to be in. Right. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, right? That's what woke was. And somehow it's been turned into like woke meaning, you know, like right-wing politics and media use it as a term to mean somebody who's just against us. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who says the world is shit right now, but it's not really that bad. What the fuck are they talking about? They're just crying about stuff. A snowflake.
But you know what? Extrapolate that. Let's put the neon sign to it.
Yeah.
When Megyn Kelly says bling.
Dog, yes. No, this is that. This is that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Think of where... So just think about that. She didn't come up with the term bling. Mm-hmm. Nobody has an ownership of words. Words are, you know, out there. But when you look at how someone can be very openly critical of a particular race and how they do things, and then now you're adopting terms that these people came up with, it makes it a little bit tricky.
Exactly.
For people to then now hear you and take you seriously. I'm like, well, why are you, if a black culture is so terrible and corrosive, then why are you using terms like bling?
Yeah. Like woke, the word woke got ripped right from under us. And like everybody in like these in the right wing media use it, like they call them the woke left wing or the woke liberals, and they use it all the time to the point where if I'm like sitting around one of these people and I'm having a conversation with somebody and I tell you to like, you know, stay woke, they gonna hear something completely different than when I was telling this person.
But here's the thing, and this is why terms matter. Mm-hmm. Woke used in that way as far as be aware of your surroundings. Mm-hmm. And then woke being used to describe someone who's being irrational.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Irrational. That's what I was getting at, I guess.
This is why you have to use terms the right way. Because anybody can say that canceling someone for sneezing isn't woke mob behavior. It's just being irrational. Yeah, like it's just call them irrational. Don't use woke because
that's not even what that shit means.
Yeah,
it's like you don't even know what you're talking about.
You're just, for me, like I said, you're doing culture wars that don't need to be there while confusing people who are just like, yeah, I want to be able to ride on my tractor without having to watch a rainbow-haired person come around here, and it's just like, bro,
shut up, yo.
What somebody else's. Here's the thing: what people don't care nearly as much about you as you think. Nope. And that's one thing I picked up from you. And another thing, look, what someone else is doing is none of your business.
It sure ain't.
What somebody wants to get married to, what somebody wants to dress up like, what somebody wants to present themselves as. None of your business.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like you say this stuff, you feel like a broken record, but like you're right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta say it over and over and over again because people don't get it. Yeah. It ain't none of your business.
Yeah, and if you try to make everything your business, is where you get into trouble. Yeah. So just let people be, and unless they're personally harming you. And guess what? The people that you're so upset about are not personally harming you.
Not at all. Nowhere near. As a matter of fact, they probably go out of their way. Not probably, I know this because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? They probably go out of their way to not even make it appear as if they're doing something that may or may not harm you. You know what I'm saying? Like we take that level of precaution.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no.
No, but I think we did a good job today tackling, some of this. It's gonna be interesting bringing back Mimi. If we have to. Oh my God. Next week.
We can edit this part out.
Nah, I'm messing. Love to see you guys next week.
Yes.
There's no word. She's not here, but glad that you guys joined us again. Make sure to follow us at the Semi Pro Joe's Network on YouTube.
Yup.
And we're out.
Yes. See y'all.